Hello again, I am Blunty. This is take 2 of this video because my Roomba of thought hit a wall and bounced off somewhere about 3 minutes into the last time I tried to record this, and I went off on a completely weird tangent which was related but unnecessary, so we're trying again. And I have even less time to do it now because when I started that last one I was like, oh hey, I've got half an hour to record this and then I have a meeting to go to, and after the meeting I've got a bunch of stuff to go, and I planned my time poorly today because I've been procrastinating. Oh no! But now I've got 20 minutes to record this video and try and get it edited up, so I'm going to have to try and do it in one take, so I have to do minimal editing. Hi, I'm Blunty. Did I say that? Last week, published a video about gatekeeping. This is a very different video, but still about gatekeeping. That one was about sort of terms and micro labels and stuff like that for various sort of subculture type stuff. You should probably watch it. There's some interesting stuff in there. Hardly anyone has watched it. Don't know why. YouTube hates me. Like, subscribe, thumb, comment, share, because YouTube's really boning me over in the algorithm recently. But new Thor trailer, teaser trailer, and Thor's like, you know, I don't want to be a superhero anymore. I just want to hang around and figure out my own crap. And looks like a funny little sort of a space version of a road movie, maybe, or a buddy movie, whatever it is. It looks like it could be fun, and you know, I'll give it a go. But then right at the end of the movie, shoom, in comes Jane, and Jane is Thor now. Thanks for interrupting me, phone. I'm on a roll here. Jane is Thor now, and she has Mjolnir. And Mjolnir, all the pieces have been smooshed back together. You can see all these lovely little glowing blue cracks over it. Looks like, it reminds me a bit of that Japanese art form that I always forget the name of. The one where they glue stuff back together, and it's supposed to be more valuable because it's broken in the first place, because it's part of its character, it's part of its history, and it's a very sort of lovely metaphor thing. And it's called that. That word there, that one never sticks in my brain. I can never pull that word out of my brain when I need it, but I love the concept. Anyway, so the Mjolnir smushed all the bits, all the shattered bits, because remember it got shattered? Thor's sister went, hey, check this out. Boom, and go, oh no, she's a big powerful threat. And then Thor got a new hammer, and then there was another borrowed hammer from a different timeline in the other movie, but that had to be put back later, so the whole timeline thing, and then Loki screwed up all the timelines. But continuity is getting difficult in the MCU. I heard someone mention the other day that apparently the new Moon Knight TV series isn't even part of the mainline MCU continuity, which seems weird to me, but... So, Roomba of thought, sorry, bounce this. Nobody's going to like this. I can't get to the point. I can't find my way to the point I'm trying to make, and everyone's going to be angry and pissy at me for just waffling and going on and on and on. And I don't know what to do about that, quite frankly. But everyone's, well, not everyone, a segment of, let's be fair and call it the fandom, are getting pissy because right at the end of the Thor trailer, in comes Jane with a new hammer, and oh, it's a new Thor. And she's a girl. Well, not a girl, a woman. Well, not a woman. In the insult terms, a female. And is it just me, or is every time you see one of these misogynist incel types, when they spit the word female, you always hear it like a Ferengi would say it? Just absolute undercurrents of that. The way they use that word, female. Anyway, so they're getting all pissy and, oh, Thor's going woke, it won't go broke, all that kind of crap, but not kind of realizing that the history of Jane being Thor goes all the way back to the 60s in a what if comic, or what if Jane got the powers of Thor, and then later on in the early to mid 2000s, and I haven't fact checked this, but my memory says about 2010ish, maybe a bit before, maybe a bit after, somewhere around there, when Marvel were doing a sort of refresh of several of their lines, and stuff like that, and Jane was legitimately just Thor in the main continuity comics. It wasn't a what if, it wasn't a side little pocket universe, it was the main 616 universe, and Jane was Thor. Not sure how long that went on for, but there was a bunch of other changes around at the same time. Some were popular, some weren't, some were reverted, some weren't. I don't know. I never really read that many Marvel comics, especially around that time of my life, that sort of mid 2000s kind of ish, 2010ish kind of era. But on the other side of that, I've also seen a lot of women nerds out there feeling very, very excited to see Jane as Thor on the big screen, and sort of what that means for them, and the sense of sort of empowerment they get from that, just the same as you know, a dude like me might get a sense of empowerment for watching, you know, Batman run around and kicking ass, or Superman or whatever. You know, we don't need to have the representation argument again, right? If at this point you don't understand why representation matters, then you're willfully not understanding it. You are choosing to ignore it, because it's really simple. So having more big powerful chicks up on screen, aces. But with that, with these females saying, hey, I'm all about this, I'm there for this, I won't be talking about anything but this for the next year of my life, just so you're aware. And of course you got the mansplainers. Sorry, what was the JK, the video I made the other week? The beard splainers. The beard splainers coming along and trying to explain to these women about Thor and the history and sort of trying to test them and things like that when they say, oh, no, I've been a comic book nerd for so-and-so, and they try and test them. They say questions, oh, well, did you know about this and this, episode? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't test people like that. If they tell you they're a fan of something, just believe them. Because here's the real secret. It doesn't matter what point they jumped on. You can still be a Marvel fan, even if you only heard the name Tony Stark a bunch of years ago when that first Iron Man movie came out. Most people didn't. Iron Man was a very sort of under-the-radar character for the mainstream until that movie came out. Most people knew about Superman and Batman and probably Spider-Man and maybe even the Hulk and things like that. But characters like Thor, characters like Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, Vision, all that sort of stuff, most people had no friggin' idea who and what they were all about before those movies came about. So if they're only a fan of that stuff because of the movies or the TV shows, that's fine. They don't have to know the entire backstory of all the comics and things like that. That's fine as well. The correct way to respond to someone when they tell you they're a fan of something is to not go, oh, well, you're not really a fan unless you read this, or unless you saw this, or unless you know the complete backstory of this catalogue of timeline changes over here and things. No. Let me tell you what I do. I'm a fan of Pokemon. All right. I have been playing Pokemon since there was Pokemon games. Well, almost anyway. I wasn't there at the very, very, very beginning, but I was there in the first generation. About a year and a half before the second generation came out, because there was like a 3-year gap, wasn't there? I don't know. Timelines get all muddy when it comes to Pokemon releases because there have been so many over the last 25 years. Sometimes I forget. And that's okay. But, I know Pokemon. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of it or anything, but I've been playing since there was Pokemon. So when someone comes to me and says, oh, yeah, I love Pokemon, I don't say, well, you're not a true fan unless you played the, first generation games are over. Have you played Red yet? No, not the remake, the original. That's that. You don't do that to people. What you do to people, you go, oh, excellent, me too. Hey, when was your jumping on point? What was your first game? What's your favorite game since then? And things like that. You engage in them, so you find out why they're excited about that fandom. You don't try and test them to make sure they're a true fan, because that doesn't affect you. If someone's only a fan of Moon Knight because they only found out about it because they think Oscar is a bit of a thirst trap or something. Go, oh, I love watching him when he's on screen, and they checked out Moon Knight because of that, and they go, oh, Moon Knight's a pretty interesting character. What are they doing with the DID, dissociative identity disorder? Which, by the way, I don't know that much about DID, dissociative identity disorder, but from what I do know, it seems like a pretty good representation. If you have that, or know someone who has it, or know a bit about it, how do you feel about that? I feel like it's again, representation. And a reasonably positive spin on representation for a mental health disease that few people will truly understand than we've seen in some other lenses. Split, for example. But yeah, just don't test people on their fandom. Get on board with them. Be excited with them. Just engage with them. Say, hey, what do you enjoy about, I don't know, Madman? So there's a deep cut one for you. There's another one most people won't know. God damn it, Mike Allred's art though. Woo! I think I mentioned this in another video recently. I can't remember the context, but I remember bringing him up once before. Mike Allred. As soon as I saw his art, I was like, yeah, I gotta read that. That art is so unlike anything else I've been exposed to through other, the DC comics and stuff I was reading. I never saw a line art. It's just the way it flows, the way it moves, the way it's colored. Oh! Anyway, the point I'm trying to, they're all the line in the sand here is gatekeeping to try and keep focus within a fandom sort of micro pocket. Good. But don't exclude people just because they don't have the same depth of knowledge that you do, or they're a new fan, or they came on at a point. Maybe they're a Superman fan because they came on in, what was it, 96-ish? Again, I haven't checked this. 96, 97, when they did Superman Electric Red and Blue, which, if you're someone like me who was reading Superman before that happened, and then they did that, and I was like, what? I mean, I know it's a reference to an older one where it's Superman Red and Blue and he's split apart, but what's this Electric Superman thing? And then he's vulnerable when he's Clark Kent and everything. It's kind of interesting in that way, but oh man, the stories they were trying to tell when this was happening, first time around, because I think they did it again recently. They referenced it again with one of the new reboot continuities or something, I don't know. But I hated that. I really wasn't enjoying Superman comics when I read that. But then they reverted it, and I was enjoying Superman comics when he had his regular power set back again. But, you know, if someone jumped on board when that happened, someone saw it on a shelf, go, that's not Superman. It's a Superman comic, but it's all electric and blue. What's that about? Pick it up, read it, found an interesting character piece and deconstructing who and what Clark Kent is when he doesn't have his powers all the time, and you know, all that kind of stuff that they were trying to tell inside that kind of story. And that's when they became Superman fan. That's fine too. I don't have any right to say, hey, you're not a true Superman fan because you like the wrong version of Superman. Stop it with that. Fandoms. It's so tiresome. I've got, you know, look at me. Gen X, turned 44 this year. I've seen it for decades of my life, and I'm really tired of it. And it's just we got to be better than this. We got to try and stop this. It's no good for anybody. It's not fun. All you're doing is antagonizing people who want to love the same thing that you love. Stupid. Don't do that. You want more people to love the thing you love because then more of it gets made, because we live in a capitalist world. Popular things get more invested into them, so more stuff comes out. Thanks, patrons. I am Blunty. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. I don't have time to edit this before my meeting.